Hey guys, we're underwater! That was a fail. So, hi guys, it's Game Promo. So we're gonna be doing, movie review. So, a couple things. So, this is all the things I want to go through. A lot of stuff. I'll try and get to it through everything, but I don't know if I will. So, I might have to do this in a couple parts. Yeah. So the other thing that I wanted to say is that I'm gonna try not to swear or anything. If it slips out, I'm sorry. Also, if I offend anybody, I'm sorry about that too. If my opinions are different than yours about this movie, I'm sorry. Gotta get a drink. I'm thirsty. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff to go through. So to start off with, this was one of the better DC movies that I've seen. So to start the movie off with, did that scare you? Scared the cat. Scared me. So in the beginning of this movie, they use a big jump scare, a lot of random noises and stuff, which scared the crap out of me. It probably scared half of the people in the theater. So, and there's a lot of jump scares in this movie, like randomly throughout it. So, just letting you know, warning that there's a huge jump scare in the beginning. So, I feel like a fish out of water. Very thirsty this morning. So one of the really awesome scenes that I like about this movie is the whole scene where they're in the trench. So, again, spoiler. So I don't want to give you guys too many spoilers or anything. So, also I'm wearing this only because this is the only thing that I could find that is DC. This is Harley Quinn. I have a few other things that are like little things that are DC, but majority of my stuff is Marvel. So you can tell which team I'm on. So yeah, with the trench scene, they have to go down into this big giant like trench, and there's all these things following them. And the whole time that I was watching this scene, I was like this. It's like, nope, I'm not doing it. And they do a lot of jump scares during that scene, which isn't really necessary, but they did it anyways, but okay. And I did a little research for this movie, so, because I kind of guessed on it when I was watching the movie. I'm like, Mom, I know what this trench is. I know the name of it. And I looked it up and I confirmed that was the trench that I thought it was. It's actually the Marianas Trench, which is the deepest trench in the ocean, which is terrifying. I don't remember the depth of it, but it is mind-boggling how deep it is. Also, if you don't know, it's actually a Canadian band, Marianas Trench. Cool stuff. So there's also a scene, I'm looking at my little note thing. So if I look down, that's what I'm doing. Hi, Kat. Do you want to give your commentary on the movie? So, also they run into these creatures that, they live in the dark and they're afraid of the light. So, they use a flare. Well, when they go down into it, there's tons of them. There's like millions of them. It kind of reminds me a little bit of, like Big Hero 6 with all the little microbots, like coming after Hero and his friends. That's what it's like. It's literally them two falling into this trench with like a gazillion of these little creature things following them. It is terrifying. And this is why I don't like the ocean. So when they get to the bottom of the trench, they have their flare, so it keeps them at bay a little bit. But, of course, like any movie, the flare has to go out. And that's when I lost it. I'm like, nope, nope, mm-mm, mm-mm. I don't want to watch it. There's gonna be a jump scare right here, and I don't wanna. But actually, I was kind of a little disappointed with that scene because they didn't. They didn't have a jump scare. It was just the flare went out and they got another one. So I'm like, okay, cool. Got me excited for nothing. So yeah, that was one of the scenes that really stuck with me just because it actually used the Marianas Trench. I don't know if they actually did, but like, that's what they implied that they used. So, there's a lot of scenes in this movie that reminded me of other movies. So, which, I don't know really what that says for the movie, because that's kind of not really super original on their part, but it's a movie. So, to begin with, I wanted to talk about the Captain America spin that they use. So there's a scene in the movie where he takes a hatch of like a submarine and he whips it towards one of the bad guys. And the way that he does it reminded me so much of Captain America throwing his shield, which I don't know if they're trying to copy Marvel because Marvel's on top. I don't know. It's probably just me just being critical about it. But it just reminded me of Captain America, just the way that he throws it. It's just, like one of those scenes, instead of, throwing it like a frisbee, he throws it like you're skipping a stone. And it just reminded me so much of Captain America. So I don't know what they were doing with that, if they were copying or if that's how you actually throw a hatch or something, I don't know. So one of the characters in this movie, Mira, reminded me a lot of Ponyo, more specifically her mom. So if you guys haven't seen that film, go watch it. It's a Studio Ghibli film, Ponyo. So Ponyo's mom has like super, super, super red hair, just like Mira does. And it just reminded me of her because like her hair is just super red. It literally looks like she crushed a tomato and like put it in her hair. That's how red it is. She also reminds me of, I forgot the person's name, but the person in The Hobbit, the really like long-haired red girl, red-haired girl. I don't remember her name, but it reminded me of that too. So I don't know, and it also reminds me of Black Widow too, because Black Widow originally had red hair, now she has blonde, which I don't know why they changed that. But yeah, I don't know if they're trying to copy because they're, bottom of the food chain at this point. I don't know. It also reminded me a little bit of Percy Jackson just because it has the mythology of like Poseidon and everything and the trident and whatnot. Also, there's a specific scene that really reminded me of Percy Jackson. I'm really surprised that they didn't do what I wanted them to do. So basically, what happened is that they're in Italy and they're on like a rooftop and they go through a water tower. And there's a scene in Percy Jackson like that where he gets hit into a water tower and then all the water goes everywhere and he uses his powers. This didn't happen, which I was really kind of disappointed at. That whole scene just kind of disappointed me, that whole sequence in Italy. Because he didn't use his powers. Because if you're Aquaman, use your powers. Mira used more of her powers than Aquaman did. And she's not the king of the ocean. So I really thought he was going to use his powers there because he had the perfect opportunity. He had tons of water right there at his disposal, but he didn't use it. So, and there's also a scene where he's literally like burned, spoiler, he's also like burned right here. And, you know, wouldn't you think that you would get in the water and heal yourself? I mean, they did that in Percy Jackson, so maybe that's why. But he didn't. And it was just kind of really disappointing. Like, why? Wouldn't you think that you would go in the water? You're Aquaman. Don't you heal that way? Like, do you just heal normally? I don't know. It was just weird. It was disappointing to me that they didn't take that opportunity to like fully use his powers. But okay, you can just breathe underwater. That's cool. Um, Also with the whole Poseidon stuff, it kind of reminds me of like the Little Mermaid and whatnot with Poseidon and Atlantis and the Trident and all that stuff. So I don't really know if there's a connection between Aquaman, Poseidon, and Ariel. I don't know. That'd be cool to figure it out. Also, the other thing is with the actual symbol of Aquaman. You can see it clearly on Mira on her costume. It reminds me of the Star Trek symbol that they use for like the Starfleet or whatever it is. It also reminds me of Assassin's Creed. I don't know which one is first. I'm guessing probably Star Trek because I think that's a little bit older. It might be Aquaman. I don't know, depending on the comics. I know it's not Assassin's Creed because Assassin's Creed came out in like 2000s-ish. So I'm guessing probably not Assassin's Creed. So let me know on that if you guys check it out. So one of the amazing things about this movie that just like astounded me with how DC has come a long way from where it was. This is one of their nicer movies just purely for the scenery. Like it is so beautiful. It reminds me so much of Subnautica. If you haven't seen Subnautica, go check it out. I don't think I'm gonna actually be able to play it on here because I'm still trying to figure out how to record it, and the frame rate is already really low on it, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. So go check it out. The scenery is amazing, and there's scenes in this movie that just you don't see that very often in movies where it's underwater and it is just brilliant. Like the Subnautica developers need to take note of this and they need to implement that. Like they need to do a collab of something because games now would be so much more beautiful if they could implement this. There's just sceneries that are just like they take your breath away. Like I was sitting there in the theater and I'm just like, wow. Like it's just pretty. Like you're just in awe of it. So go check that out. I mean, it's great. So there's a lot of course, there's a lot of fight scenes. It's a superhero movie. What did you expect? So with that, I like fight scenes in movies like that because it's just like you can see what they're doing, like lost my train of thought. It's just like normally people like average people don't fight, so seeing a fight scene like that, it's like, ooh, okay, that was a dirty move. Like, okay. I don't know, like I like watching fight scenes because it's seeing something different, And like some of the moves that they do is just like, ooh, okay. Didn't see that coming. Yeah. If I could choose anyone on my team, I would have Aquaman on my team because he is badass. Like, dang, okay. Straight into the throat. Alright, let's go. So yeah. So with this movie, it also had like with the scenes that, you're seeing Atlantis and everything. There was a lot of really great music. Um, there's one scene like towards the end that is just super freaking cheesy. So cheesy. Oh my god. The music swells and there's this big like happy moment and it's so cheesy. But there's also scenes where it's like, the action is really like it's up and going so yeah, which is kind of a nice balance because you got the cheesiness, but then you got the actiony and like, the really like intense fight scene and stuff like that. There's also really cheesy moments in this movie, like the ending. Oh my god, the ending is so freaking cheesy to me. It's just like, we're gonna pose and be super cheesy in our superhero move. It's kind of like it's kind of like playing on the trope of oh, he's gonna do the superhero move. Like it's kind of like that. It's like, oh, he's gonna do the superhero ending. Here we go. It's just super freaking cheesy. And like some of the lines that he says are just so cheesy that they're not even like memorable quotes. They're just like cheesy and like, I don't know. It's like mixing like a really good action-y superhero movie with like cheesiness of like maybe the 80s or something and mashing it together. That's what it's kind of like to me. So I did a lot of research for this movie, and going into this movie, I didn't really know that much about Aquaman. So I think the only thing that I knew about him was, he lived in Atlantis, and there's lots of like scenes with him riding dolphins and stuff like that. That actually didn't happen, which I was really disappointed. It's a seahorse that he rides, but okay. So I was really disappointed in that because it's like, that's Aquaman. That's what he does. He rides dolphin, but okay. I already said that. I went through all the not really good catchy quotes. There really isn't. There's maybe like one I thought was good. Those redheads. That's all I'm gonna say because I don't want to spoil that scene. But the goat is just like, really? Like, okay. So one of the other things that I wanted to talk about that Subnautica or other games need to implement this so much is a huge, gigantic monster that they put in this. I don't remember the name of it, but I know it's a Leviathan. And if you don't know what a Leviathan is, it's a specific class of like monsters, and they have a certain size to them. So I don't know the size of it, but like, if you know Subnautica, you'll know what I'm talking about because they use that term a lot. And then there's like the Grim Reaper, the Ghost Leviathan, there's the Sea Emperor, like stuff like that. Even bigger than all of those. So imagine the Sea Emperor times like 100. That's what I'm talking about. That's how big this monster is. So I can't even imagine running into this in Subnautica. I don't even think they would have space for this. It would be like half of the map. So yeah, they should really implement it because just looking at that monster is just like, okay, hi, you are huge. Okay, this person is riding you. Cool. Like, I would totally ride that Leviathan into battle. That would be amazing. So one of the other movies that it reminds me of is Thor. When I was doing research on this, there was a lot of people that said this, more specifically because there's literally a scene that is so much like Thor that it could be broken down and like compared to it. I don't want to get too much into spoiler of it, but yeah. So pretty much what happens is that, he's doing a mid-flight, action sequence, and there's like a lightning bolt that comes mid-flight, and it's like, okay, I see what you're doing here. Because there's a scene in Thor that literally does that, where, he jumps up and there's lightning and whatnot, and he does this super cool superhero move and whatnot. So I feel like they're trying so hard to be Marvel, but they just can't do it. And I also did some research on that, which I'll get to later. I am running kind of low on time, so I don't know how much I'm gonna get done. Depending on how long you guys want this episode to be. I'm at 20 minutes right now. So, I'll get to 2 more points and then I'll end it here and then go into the next one. So there is a lot of lava in this movie. I don't understand why it is with certain movies that they have so much lava in it. And I understand it with this a little bit because they did this also in Subnautica. There's also like a huge like lava level. It was just sounded funny to me. But I think there's a fascination with lava. Just because when lava is like superheated and it hits water, it solidifies. So I think there's a fascination with that a little bit. But I also think it's just because it's part of the ocean, Underneath us there's tons of magma, and there is plenty in the ocean. And I think kind of towards like the Marianas Trench, it's even more close because it's so deep and it's like right underneath the surface of that. So I don't know. It's cool and it makes it more like exciting and dangerous, but I don't know. I don't really understand really why movies do that. Like they did that in Lord of the Rings, but I think that was more practical use because they needed some way to, get rid of the ring versus, wanting it to look nice. So, I don't know. But I do like lava. Watching stuff burn in lava and like it's really cool when lava hits water. Like it just solidifies. So I can see the appeal of it, but at the same time, like, really? Do you need really that much lava? But, oh well. So the other thing is, warning for this movie. This movie is 2.5 hours long. If you can't make it through that, I don't know how you're gonna get through Endgame, because that is 3 hours long. But if you can't do it, you can't do it. You're not gonna really miss much if, you go to the bathroom or you get a drink or something. Like, that's fine. But I just hate it when people are, like, complaining about it, that it's 2.5 hours, and then they're like, oh my god, I don't know how I'm gonna make it through Endgame. Well, if you can't get through 2.5 hours, don't be, like, I don't know. It just bugs me that people are complaining about it, about 2.5 hours, when we're gonna have a 3-hour movie coming soon. So, like, I understand if you can't, but just don't complain about it. Just, step out. That's fine. Just don't complain. I didn't really mind it. It honestly did seem a little bit long, but at the same time, like, I've been in movies that are longer than that. So didn't really bother me much. I don't know really how I'm gonna make it through Endgame, but I'm gonna have to. So, because with Endgame, they're probably gonna, have a lot of scenes that are gonna be important, so I'm probably not gonna want to step out. But I understand if people do. So, I just don't like it when they complain. Seems not really useful. So I think I'm gonna leave it off here because I'm at 24 minutes. So, let me know in the comments if you liked it, if you've seen it yet, or if you agree with some of these points. I don't know. Stay hydrated. It's good for you. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you've seen it, if you liked it, any points that I missed that you guys want to talk about. So yeah, see you in the next episode, guys. Bye-bye.